Hello everyone. Welcome to Law, Simple, Pure and to the Core. Dr. Vaishali here. In the last lecture, we studied concept of rule of law in detail. We studied opinion of various jurists on the concept and how it got enriched throughout the world. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss second part of the concept of rule of law, and that is Dicey's notion of rule of law. Dicey's concept of rule of law comes from common law and it is accepted in the Indian Constitution. So today we are going to discuss original Dicey concept of rule of law and how it is applied or how it is incorporated in the Indian Constitution with little modifications and through various case laws. So let us begin. Rule of law embodied in the philosophies of ancient philosophers and jurists much before it was formally coined as rule of law by Justice Coke. So the concept is formally coined as rule of law by Justice Coke, but the concept was there in the ancient Greek and Roman philosophies. And then the concept got enriched by Lone Fuller, A.V. Dicey, John Locke, Joseph Raz, K.C. Davis, and so on. Doctrine of rule of law has a profound impact on various legal systems. Numerous components of the concept of rule are included in various constitutions in the world and respected in various statutory enactments with little modifications. As you all know, Britishers made colonies throughout the world. So wherever they made their colonies, they took common law with them, and concept of rule of law comes from common law. So countries which were previous British colonies, they still follow the concept of rule of law. For example, India, for example, United States. So in the last lecture, we discussed concepts of Professor Fuller, Professor Joseph Raz. And do you know these concepts or these components provided by Joseph Raz or Professor Fuller, they are there in the Indian legal system. But the most profound influence is that of Dicey's theory. In today's lecture, we are going to see rule of law in Indian legal system with special focus on Dicey's theory. So today we are going to discuss Indian version of the concept of rule of law in detail. Rule of law, which is provided by Dicey, came as a reaction. In France, Dicey observed that the government officials exercised wide discretionary powers, and if there was any dispute between a government official and a private individual, it was tried not by an ordinary court but by a special administrative court. The law applicable in that case was not ordinary, but a special law developed by the administrative court. It means in France, there were two types of law, one for common man and one for administrative authorities. So a dispute happens between a common man and a common man, matter will go to ordinary court. But if a dispute happens between a common man or an administrative authority, the matter used to go to administrative courts called as Council d'Etat. From this, Dicey concluded that this system spelled the negation of the concept of rule of law. According to Dicey, system of two types of laws and two types of courts goes against the concept of rule of law. He felt that this was against the principle of equality before the law. He also stated that all Englishmen are bound by the rule of law and there is no external mechanism required to regulate them. So according to him, one set of law is enough for all Englishmen. They do not need two types of law. Therefore, he concluded that there was no administrative law in England. Dicey regarded rule of law as the bedrock of the British legal system. This doctrine is accepted in the Constitution of United States and in India. In Dicey's works, let us see what Dicey says about his doctrine. It means, in the first place, the absolute supremacy or predominance of regular law as opposed to the influence of arbitrary power, and excludes the existence of arbitrariness or prerogative, or even of wide discretionary authority on the part of the government. So according to Dicey, discretion should not be given to governmental officials, or a very limited discretionary power should be given, and no special authority or power should be given to governmental official. It means again equality before the law, or the equal subjection of all classes to the ordinary law of the land administered by the ordinary courts. And lastly, that in short, the principles of private law have with us been by the action of the courts and parliament so extended as to determine the position of the crown and of its servants. Thus, the constitution is the result of the ordinary law of the land. I know this language sounds little bit complex, so let us simplify it further. So, crux of the Dicey's theory of rule of law is this: absolute supremacy of law. Second is equality before law and predominance of legal spirit. So let us try to understand all the components of Dicey's theory one by one. Supremacy of law. So what does it means? It means law is supreme. Law will rule. A.V. Dicey states that rule of law means there should be no arbitrariness or wide discretionary power. In other words, every act will be controlled by law. According to Dicey, the Englishmen were ruled by the law and law alone. In the words of Dicey, wherever there is discretion, there is a room for arbitrariness. Arbitrariness means unfair use of power, and that in a republic, no less than under a monarchy, discretionary authority on the part of government must mean insecurity for legal freedom on the parts of its subjects. So Dicey meant that if you give more and more discretionary powers to government, it results in compromise of freedom on the part of citizens. Supremacy of law means absence of all kinds of arbitrary and discretionary powers of the government or public officials. It implies that a man may be punished for breach of law, but he cannot be punished for anything else. An alleged offence is required to be proved before the ordinary courts in accordance with legal procedure. So supremacy of law means law will be supreme and a person can be punished for breach of law and for nothing else. So law will rule, and all the British men, they will be ruled by the same law. And Dicey said, in Britain we don't have any administrative law and we do not want any administrative law. It means we have a single set of courts and single set of laws. So laws will be same for everyone, and they have to go to the same courts also. So same types of courts and same types of law for everyone, and this is called as supremacy of law. So law will be supreme, law will be above everything else, law will be above the king as well. Second component of Dicey notion is equality before law. So literally it means everyone should be equal in front of the law. So if a common man commits murder, he will be subjected to the same punishment, and if a king commits murder, again he will get the same punishment. Principle of equality emphasizes the impartiality of law. Law gives equal justice to all, equality before law, and equal subjection of all classes to the ordinary law of the land administered by the ordinary law courts. The second principle emphasizes everyone, including the government, irrespective of rank, shall be subject to the same law and courts. It means that there shall be no distinction between the rich and the poor, official and non-officials, majority and minority, No one can be degraded and no one can be upgraded. He criticized the French legal system of droit administratif, in which there were separate administrative tribunals for deciding the cases of state officials and citizens separately. So equality before law means everyone is subjected to same law and every case will be treated or will be dealt by the same set of courts. So no different courts and no different laws. Third component of Dacian principle is predominance of legal spirit. Parliamentary supremacy is the basis of Great Britain's political system. In Blackstone's commentaries on the laws of England, he provides Parliament can do everything that is not naturally impossible. He underlined the omnipotence of Parliament. True it is that what the Parliament do, no authority upon earth can undo. So he said Parliament can practically do anything except the naturally impossible thing. He said that a Parliament cannot turn a man into woman and woman into man. Apart from that, Parliament can do anything. So this is called predominance of legal spirit. What is spirit? Which is always alive. So Dicey provided that in England we refuse to get ruled by a dead code called constitution. Our people are living. They are capable to choose their representatives. Their representatives can make a law for people. So we don't need dead code like constitution. Context is changing, so law should change as per the context, and constitution is a dead code made before centuries, so we refuse to get ruled by the constitution because we believe in predominance of legal spirit. It is generally presumed that the written constitution is the source of legal liberties of citizens. However, it is not true, as Britain has an unwritten constitution. Legal spirit is the real source of law in England. The legal spirit is seen in its customs, conventions, and judicial decisions. The general principles of the law are the result of judicial decisions determining rights of private persons in particular cases brought before the court. Dicey opines that the individual rights and liberties are more safely protected in Britain than in France. And again, he opposed the system of administrative law by saying this. So according to him, common law is nothing but centuries' wisdom condensed in the form of case laws. So judges are capable to interpret the law. Parliamentarians are capable to make laws. So we don't need a dead code like constitution because we believe in predominance of legal spirit. Dicey's version of rule of law is criticized by lots of jurists. So let us see which type of criticism Dicey received. Dicey has opposed the system of providing the discretionary power to the administration. In his opinion, providing the discretionary power means creating the room for arbitrariness, which may create as serious threat to individual freedom. Providing discretion is a need of time. The discretion to the administration is inevitable. So, in today's world, providing discretionary powers to government is a need of time. For example, in this scenario, um, if a certain act is created by the parliament, but day-to-day functioning of that administrative office is decided by the people who work in the office, so some element of discretion is necessary. The opinion of Dicey appears to be outdated as it restricts the government action and fails to take note of the changed conception of the government of the state. Dicey has failed to distinguish discretionary powers from the arbitrary powers. Arbitrary power may be taken as against the concept of rule of law. In modern times, in all the countries, including England, America, and India, the discretionary powers are conferred on the government. The present trend is that discretionary power is given to the government or administrative authorities, but the statute which provides it to government or the administrative office lays down some guidelines or principles according to which the discretionary power is to be exercised. The administrative law is much concerned with the control of the discretionary power of the administration. It is engaged in finding out the new ways and means of the control of administrative discretion. So, Dicey opposed discretionary power, and giving discretionary power is a need of time. So, it is criticized widely all over the world. Second notion of Dicey, that is equality before law. In fact, by reason of maintaining the law and order in the society, there are actually exceptions such as the crown, police, members of parliament. The crown may exercise prerogative powers which may defeat the rights of individual. The police have powers over and above the citizens. Members of parliament have immunity from the law of defamation. Dicey was very critical to the separation for deciding the disputes between the administration and the citizens. According to Dicey, the rule of law requires equal subjection of all persons to the ordinary law of the country and absence of special privileges for person, including the administrative authority. This proportion of Dicey does not appear to be correct even in England. Just a point, the above mentioned things about police and parliamentarians, I discussed this in British context. So after this, we are moving to Indian context. Lots of people or person enjoy some privileges and immunities. For example, judges, public officials, foreign diplomats. So giving some immunity to some people or privileges is a need of time, and that's why Dicey's strict notion of equality is criticized. So, to sum up, in short, Dicey's doctrine is accepted with certain modifications. Third meaning given to the rule of law by Dicey, that is, the constitution is the result of judicial decisions determining the rights of private persons in particular cases brought before, is limited, and it is applicable in Great Britain only. So Dicey notion is accepted by lots of civilized countries with little modifications. So after the notion, modern concept of a rule of law came uh, because of Delhi Declaration, uh, in which over 185 judges, lawyers, and law professors from 53 countries gathered in New Delhi, and they provided a new concept of law. According to new concept of rule of law, the functions of government in a free society should be so exercised as to create conditions in which the dignity of man as an individual is upheld. It is not only recognition of certain civil or political, social, economical, educational, and cultural conditions which are essential to the full development of his personality, but the modern concept of rule of law is to create those circumstances in which the dignity of man can be protected. So it's not just the assurance of certain liberties or rights, but creation of the conditions which are conducive to the fulfillment of these liberties or rights. So the modern concept of rule of law is to make government so effective that it can protect individual liberty. After Dicey, Casey Davis gives 7 principles or meanings of the term rule of law. Number 1 meaning of rule of law is law and order in society. Second, fixed rules. So same rules for everyone and which are fixed so that people can estimate what is going to happen to them. Number 3, due process of law or fairness. Number 4, observance of principles of natural justice. Next, elimination of discretionary power. Number 6, preference for judges and ordinary courts. Number 7, judicial review of administrative actions. So Professor Casey Davis, his concept of rule of law embodies these 7 components. So let us see Diceian notion of rule of law in the Indian scenario. So first notion of Diceian principle of rule of law is supremacy of law. Is it there in the Indian scenario? Yes, we do have supremacy of law in India. In India, constitution is the law, and we do have constitutional supremacy which is guaranteed by Article 13 of the Constitution itself. So yes, we have supremacy of law and provided under Indian Constitution. So let us go through some articles or provisions which provides or which supports the principle of supremacy of law. I'm not going to discuss each and every article, but just the major ones. So the preamble of the Constitution provides for rule of law when it assures justice, social, economic and political liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief and worship, equality of status and opportunity. Yes, it provides for supremacy of law and it supports the notion of rule of law. Then again, Article 50 of the Constitution. This article puts an obligation over the state to separate the judiciary from executive. Article 123, Article 121 and 211, Article 361. These articles supports from the notion of supremacy of law. Again, Article 21 and 22. Article 21 provides a further check against arbitrary executive action by stating that no person shall be deprived of his life or liberty except in accordance with the procedure established by law. So, unless some procedure established by law is followed, a person cannot be arrested. So, this is nothing but rule of law. Again, Article 22, which provides for protection against arrest and detention in certain cases, provides for rule against double jeopardy and protection against self-witnessing. Double jeopardy means you cannot be prosecuted for a same offense more than once. So these things which are provided in Article 22 are the components of rule of law, and yes, we do have supremacy of law in India as provided by Dicey. Now second notion of Dicey, that is equality before law. Entire theme relating to equality is provided by Article 14 to 18 of the Indian Constitution. Article 14 provides, which is a cornerstone of the Indian democracy, which assures right to equality and states that state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. This provision confers rights on all persons, whether citizens or foreigners. So all people, they are equal before the law and they are subjected to the equal law or same law. Additionally, the word person includes legal persons, that is statutory corporations, companies, registered societies. The concept of equality before law is of British origin, while the concept of equal protection of laws has been engaged from American Constitution. So yes, we do have equality before the law provided under Indian Constitution, and then there are other articles which supports equality before law, that is Article 15, which prohibits discrimination against citizens on such specific grounds as religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. Article 16 guarantees to the citizens of India equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. Article 17 abolishes untouchability, and Article 18 abolishes titles other than a military or academic distinction. So yes, Diceian notion of equality before law, it is there in Indian Constitution. It is very well provided and protected under the Indian Constitution. Now third principle of or third component of the concept of rule of law is predominance of legal spirit. We do not have predominance of legal spirit as expected by Dicey, because he was expecting not the constitutional supremacy but the supremacy of legislative law. So in India there is predominance of constitution and no predominance of legal spirit as expected by Dicey It is there, and Article 13 provides for that. No law can go beyond the Constitution. So we do not have predominance of legal spirit in India, but we have predominance of Constitution. And the reason is different, obviously. In Britain, democracy is deeply rooted. So people, they are aware of their rights, and parliamentarians cannot touch their rights because people are very well aware of that. In India, democracy is not that rooted as that of Great Britain. It is imported from Great Britain. So it will take some years to get democracy rooted in our soil. So till then or till that time, Constituent Assembly wanted to protect certain rights from parliamentarians, and that's why they made Constitution. So Constitution is a guarantee of certain rights which are very, very important for people. So in order to protect those rights, they are kept in the constitutional and they are beyond the legislative reach. And that's why predominance of legal spirit is not there in Indian legal system, and at this time we cannot afford that. That is the reality. So we have a predominance of constitution and it is working very well in our scenario. Let us quickly go through certain case laws. In India, the meaning of rule of law has been much expanded. It is regarded as the part of the basic structure of the constitution, and therefore it cannot be abrogated or destroyed even by parliament. The ideals of constitution, liberty, equality and fraternity have been enshrined in the preamble. So let us go through first case, that is Keshavananda Bharati versus Union of India. The Supreme Court provided that rule of law as one of the most important aspects of the doctrine of basic structure, and it cannot be amended by the legislative enactments. In second case, Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, the Supreme Court declared that Article 14 strikes against arbitrariness and it supported the notion of equality as provided in the concept of rule of law. Next case, Indira Nehru Gandhi versus Raj Narayan. Article 329A was inserted in the Constitution under 39th Amendment, which provided certain immunities to the election of office of Prime Minister from judicial review. The Supreme Court declared Article 329A as an invalid since it obliges the basic structure of the Constitution. So every action is subject to judicial review, which is very, very necessary for the protection of rule of law. Next case is Raman Dayaram Shetty versus International Airport Authority of India. Supreme Court held that the great purpose of rule of law is the protection of individual against arbitrary exercise of power wherever it is found. In the next case, Ray Arundhati Roy, Justice Sethi observed that for achieving the establishment of rule of law, the Constitution has assigned the special task to the judiciary. So judiciary is there to protect rule of law. So today we discussed concept of rule of law as provided by Dicey and how it is there in Indian scenario, or how it is adjusted and molded as per the Indian scenario. Today we discussed couple of case laws also. So if there is a question on concept of rule of law, you have to combine my lecture number 1 and lecture number 2. So let me quickly go through or review your answer. We'll begin with introduction, like what is rule of law, then origin of the concept, how it originated in Greek and Roman philosophies and how it got developed and enriched by lots of professors. So one by one we are going to discuss these professors. Afterwards we are going to discuss different notions like thick and thin notion of rule of law as discussed by me in my previous lecture. Then we are going to see different components of the concept of rule of law provided by different jurists. Afterwards, lecture number 2, we are going to combine it in our answer, like Dicey notion of rule of law, all the 3 components of rule of law, meaning of these components, so how they work in Great Britain, then criticism to the Dicey's theory, how it is not practicable to apply it mechanically or very strictly. Then modern concept of rule of law, a developed concept of rule of law provided by Casey Davis. Then we will see each and every component in Indian scenario. First, how it is supported by the Indian Constitution by providing various articles, and then how it is supported by Indian judiciary through various case laws. So that's it. If I get time in my next lecture, I would be discussing different more case laws relating to rule of law. So stay tuned till my next lecture. Goodbye and good luck.